The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
And welcome to another edition of Guardian Radio Today with your host, Kahunan Kusara. This is the August 6th, 2025 edition of this show. And of course, we are on Guardian Radio 96.9, fresh news, smart talk all day. Thank you so much. I pray that you are staying safe on the streets if you're driving right now. Seems like we have some scattered showers and much needed showers because last night was hot. I don't know what. I have the other in it. It was hot last night, right? And so we need the rain, and I'm grateful for the rain. Today we want to have an open line. There's a lot going on in the country. There's a lot going on in the world. I want to say happy independence to our Jamaican brothers and sisters. August 6th is their independence, and so, you may want to celebrate some Jamaican independence with some good Jamaican food today. Any excuse to eat some good Jamaican food. But happy independence to them. We also, today was also the 80th anniversary of the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Japan. So they have been observing the loss of life that happened in 1945, the ending of World War II. And then it's important mentioning these things because, every cultural identity has things that they remember. Every cultural identity has things that they deem important to their social fabric, right? Here in the Bahamas, we Emancipation Day, or acknowledged it. Some people, care about it, others don't. But I think it's important that we as a people, with everything going on in the country, you got to slow down and pay attention to what's really going on. There was just a study done recently, and I know it's been talked about, but I don't know if there's been how much uproar. The Ministry of Health in the Bahamas recently released findings from the Global School Health Survey. This Global School Health Survey, what is it saying about us, right, as a country? If the children are struggling, then surely the adults must be struggling, because things are not necessarily what they ought to be. And it's been that way for a while now. It's not anything political. I'm not trying to get political. To make sure I'm still being heard. I'm still being heard, Kermit? Yeah? I'm still being heard? All right, I don't know. I think my headphone went out. But let me just switch headphones. Okay. All right, I think this is a little better. Yeah, but there's a lot going on, and as we, talk about the various issues that we have facing us as a country today, I think it's important that, as we look at the news, as we look at what's going on in the world, that we focus on. Sorry, I'm just getting my headphones sorted out. All right, good. I'm good now. Right? We look at the realities of in place in the country, and I want to get a kind of a barometer on where we're at. A lot of people are struggling in this country, and as we as a Bahamian nation, as we strive to reach this common loftier goal, what is it that's going on in your world? You know what I mean? I mean, this global school health survey, it really brought a lot of things to light. anybody who's raising children in this country understands the significance of the economy not being what it could be and how it affects the household. I was reading something recently where it talked about, in 2024 they say you need $10,000 a month to function in this country. I mean, who makes that kind of money? Some people do, but I don't think most people do, right? At one time, $10,000 could take you, through the year, right? But as I pay attention, even to what we call pop culture, right? What are you seeing in your homes? What are you seeing in your schools? And why should we be having this conversation? We're heading back to school soon. I mean, this month I'm thinking a lot of people are going to vacation, and they are, trying to get away, trying to just get that last little whiff before you jump back into the rat race, which starts the end of August, or I think ironically September 1st. Many children are going back to school exactly on September 1st. But as we look at what is taking place around the country today, I want to start at this survey, this Global School Health Survey 2025, and it's highlighting concerning trends in adolescent health. Now, what we like to do oftentimes is just blame the children, as if these children raising themselves. But I'm looking at it as a sign that, if the children, people give their last for their children. So if you see children struggling, where are the adults? What's really going on with the adults, right? If the children are struggling, right? These adolescent health, these trends in adolescent health, they say particularly regarding nutrition. So are we eating how we're supposed to be eating? How many of us actually have established some type of backyard garden or actually visit? I know the farmers market has grown, a lot over the past few years, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. But how many of us are taking our nutrition, seriously, right? These are some of the indicators, right? Our mental health, right? The mental health. What does that even mean? Right? Is mental health something that you guard, or when you are mentally fit, you take on whatever comes your way, or know what to move away from? You have the ability to discern, right? A lot of times we find, I think in this country, we kind of like a dog chasing its tail, right? We get frustrated, and there's a lot of misplaced anger, right? We're not able to be where we want to be as individuals, and so what happens is we got to blame the politicians, right? If we ain't blaming the politicians, then we got to blame the pastors. We can talk about all this today, right? If we ain't blaming the pastors, then we could blame the children. These children so hard-headed, these children don't listen, these children so no manners, as if we ain't the ones as adults that's responsible for raising these children. But how many of these children raising themselves? So mental health, all right, is something that was looked at in the study, right? And then there's substance abuse. Now, let me tell you what. In the Bahamas, substance abuse is a part of our cultural identity. Yeah, I said it. We have songs that celebrate being drunk, right? We don't have too much marijuana songs, but we get plenty alcohol songs. And we okay with people having hangover. And we okay with people sipping and driving. I ain't saying the police okay with it. I'm just saying culturally, that's something that if you travel at all and you hit Florida or you hit Georgia or anywhere in the US or Canada or wherever you go in, some of the habits that you have while you're driving here in the Bahamas, you have to kind of put them on the shelf when you travel. They can lock you up for what we do here in the street if we just keeping it honest. So substance abuse, in many instances, it's almost like a way of treating some of the anxieties, treating some of the mental health, it's a way of escapism, right? People are going through what they're going through, and it's normal now to go have a drink. You see what I'm saying? And then people get fixated on these drinks, or nowadays whatever they smoking, and it just becomes the norm. So this is another thing that is looked at in the youth, because they find out that a lot of these young people, they drinking, they smoking. You understand? But this is a marker or a barometer for what's going on in the homes, right? If the children are struggling, then what about the adults? I want to talk about adults too. I don't just want to talk about the children, right? But these reports indicate that many Bahamian teens are not consuming the recommended amounts of fruits and vegetables. That's something that sounds very cliche. Eat your fruits and vegetables, right? But you need your fruit and vegetables. Now, the problem with fruits and vegetables now is that you got all these seedless fruits, right? You got these veggies that aren't necessarily their original genetic state, right? You don't have the heirloom seeds, right? They're producing. Make sure that they're heavy and they're pretty, but nutritionally they're very, very deficient. And so, what does that cause in the human body when you're eating but you're not getting any nutrition? Right? What happens when you drinking some of these sugary drinks, right? And or substances, as they refer to some of these drinks in this study, right? What happens when these things are stripping your body of vitamins and minerals, right? What happens is you get irritated. You don't know why you irritated, right? And I may be speaking to someone today, I pray I am, right? But why am I agitated? Why am I irritated? You may be malnourished at a certain point. You may not actually be getting the proper nutrition, which is making you agitated, which is making you irritable, right? So I listen to talk shows, often, and I listen to people call in, and many times our conversations are not solution-oriented, all right? We like to just talk, to hear ourselves talk, and it's just kind of a way of venting, right? And there's nothing wrong with venting. From time to time. I think everybody vents, right? You got to have somebody to vent to. My wife and I, we vent to each other, right? I have friends who I get called at specific times, and we vent, right? Nothing wrong with venting, right? But at some point after you finish venting, you got to say, okay, what's the solution, right? What are we going to actually do to change the circumstance because that's my question for us politically. That's my question for us in the religious arena. That's my question for us in the education arena. That's my question for us socially, right? That's my question for us culturally, right? What is the agenda? What are we actually working towards? Or is everybody trying to survive? Is everybody just trying to figure out how they can just make it through the day or the week or the month, or the quarter, or the year, right? Take your pick, right? What is it that we are actually doing, right? So some of the key findings in this study, right? And one of the most disturbing findings, they say a significant number of students have considered or attempted suicide. Now, we've been seeing the rise of suicides in the country, and there are a lot of reasons why, people attempt or actually commit suicide. You have professionals here in the country that speak to that, right? That actually deal with that on a day-to-day basis. And I know Dr. David Allen, he talks about shame, right? This idea of shame and carrying shame. And oftentimes our very innate characteristics, how we look, how we talk, how our hair grows, the color of our skin, the shape of our nose, the shape of our lips, right? The pitch of our voice even, right? All of these things in a society that demonstrates that it prefers a European standard of beauty. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't meet those standards, it can bring shame. It can bring pain. It can bring a mindset that makes you want to escape. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, right? So some of the key findings and some of the things that I think in this country, we need to pay more attention to as far as solution-oriented conversation, nutrition, right? We are very fortunate that we live in a grow food so easily. Like I have family in, the upper parts of the United States, and like they gotta get their food grown, like around this time in the summer and going into fall, because by the time it's October, November come, that's it. They can't grow no food, or they gotta grow food inside the house. But we don't have that issue, right? There was a time when we in the Bahamas grew much more food than we do now. But somehow we've got fixated on bringing in, $1 billion worth of goods every year to service our appetites, to service our desires, right? This idea of pop culture, this idea of actually watching the television, to the point where we diss our own local stations, right? Like our news and all of that, our sports and all of that, right? I've been a part of that. You get used to watching the people who have much bigger budgets, so their look and their way of presenting the news or the sports is crisp, right? And so you get used to that, and then you look at us trying around here, and you're like, right? But the reality is, we are all we have. We all we have, right? And so this idea of nutrition, I notice in the mornings. I'm up, most mornings I'm up pretty early, and people are walking, right? I see a lot of people take their health seriously. You know what I mean? Life expectancy can go up, but if you're not able to actually function as an older person, or you have to depend on people, I don't think that's kind of what you want. So it's good to see people walking, but this idea of nutrition, right? When you go when you watch the children walk into school in another few weeks, or being dropped to school, you see the vendors, right? And I'm not knocking the vendors for trying to make a living, so don't miss what I'm saying. The vendors will sell whatever the children are buying. So if the children want more healthy foods, more healthy snacks, the vendors will get it and they'll sell it to the children. The vendors are just going to sell what the children want because they got to make money, right? And so I encourage the vendors to try to bring some more healthier snacks, right, on the school path. Bring some drinks that are not as sugary, right? And this may sound like a conversation that doesn't bear much on the state of the country today, but this is where it starts when you talk about solutions, all right? If you're trying to figure out why the behavioral patterns of some of our children are so erratic, all you got to do is study how white sugar affects. Even before you get to children, you could just study how they affect lab rats, right? All the white sugar, right? I think the daily recommended amount of sugar you're supposed to have is about 25 grams. I want y'all to pay attention to these drinks that y'all picking up and drinking. 25 grams. Many drinks have much more than that, and we drinking 2 and 3 of them a day or more. And so we wonder why diabetes is what it is today. We wonder why high blood pressure is what it is today. You wonder why these non-communicable chronic diseases are what they are today. We are not paying attention to what is supposed to be put into our bodies. We don't pay attention to self. See, a lot of times when we start talking about knowing self, like people like to get, deep and metaphysical and, self, and you got to light incense and you got to sit in a certain position, and then you got to, that might be a part of it. But knowing self, right? If I was to ask, 10 people in this building today about various things, whether it was cars or whether it was about their favorite sports team or whether it was about some type of clothing that they like or their favorite bike or, what's your favorite place to go and eat? Like you could get answers, 10 out of 10 people can give you answers, right? But if I ask most people, and I'm not saying this because I know all the answers, I'm saying this because, this type of question was put to me and I had to smile, like, how well do you know your body? You know what I'm saying? If somebody was to ask you, like I just said, how much sugar your body's supposed to have in a given day, right? How much salt is your body supposed to have in a given day? Like, how many of us know that off the top of our heads or even care to know what that is? Now, you may hear this conversation and say, man, I ain't even dying. This is boring, man. I need to hear this. And you begin to understand how you mistreating your body. Remember Dr. Miles Monroe, may he rest in peace. He talked about the fact that anything that is not being used the way it's supposed to be used is being abused. And so we are abusing our bodies. We are abnormally treating our bodies, right? And so nutrition, only a small percentage of teens meet the daily recommendations for fruit and vegetable intake, while a large majority regularly consume sugary drinks. Now, many of us really don't understand how much these sugary drinks affect us, right? Mental health. A concerning number of students have considered or attempted suicide, according to the report. Why? This is an opportunity for us to share. Physical activity. Many students are not getting enough physical activity. Now, this one is a tricky one because back in our day, we had the opportunity to go out and play. Like they could wake you up first thing in the morning, and we could go and run. And we only come inside to get water. Right? You keep your cup, you drink your water or whatever you was drinking, and you go back outside and play. Today, a lot of parents don't necessarily feel safe. I know I don't. With your children just outside, I every 15 minutes, every half an hour, you checking on and see where they at, because same community, we don't have the same society that we did when I was growing up. I grew up in the 80s, born in the 70s, but I was an 80s baby in terms of growing up. And so this idea of physical activity, if the child ain't walking to school, call I see you coming right now. If the child ain't walking to school, and if they just on their device all day, the physical activity isn't there. But these things are affecting us, right? Let's run to the phone line and we get to some texts. I see some texts coming through. Caller, you on Guardian Radio today here on 96.9 FM. What say you?
Hey, gracious usual. How you doing?
Hey, great, man. How you doing?
Great, Chief. Yeah, I just want to chime in on one or two topics you have, right?
Yeah.
With the food, there is, right? The problem is we eat too much processed foods.
Yeah.
In the morning time, the typical dietary food for Bahamian is potato chip, hot potty, Coke soda.
My Lord.
Lunch break, bamboo shack, or probably McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Dinner, more likely bamboo shack.
Mm-hmm.
All that is processed food.
Just say fast food.
Attached to it.
Hey, just say fast food, because I ain't trying to.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I'm not being negative about it.
No, I bet you.
I'm just being real about it.
Yeah.
I got you. No problem.
Yeah.
Let me get on from there, right?
Yeah.
The problem with that is, right, the average Bahamian citizen, right, wants to eat properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two things happen. One, you're either too tired from work and too frustrated to go home to cook. Two, right, the healthy foods are too expensive, so you pretty well can't afford to purchase the healthy foods that you want to.
True.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Second thing I want to chime in on is the kids.
Yeah.
The problem is with the kids nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have this very bad habit with children nowadays, right? Where you see is resonating with basically every parent now. As soon as a child hits approximately about 1 to 2 years of age and the child begins to make noise, the first thing you do is you shove a tablet and put it down in the child's hand to replace the parent.
That's
because
true.
You don't want the child to make noise and you're too tired to pay attention to the child.
Yeah.
Not that you don't want to pay attention to the child, but once again, you're too fatigued from work. You probably work hard all day long. You try to cook or you try to clean or whatever, so you don't have time for the child. So now the parental skills takes the place of a tablet. And only God one knows what that child sees on that tablet.
Because anything can pop up.
You see the problem in that, right?
Yeah, huge.
All right, then. So that's the problem there. The tablet is now replacing the parent.
Yeah.
We don't have proper things to put the security features on these tablets. You know what you see on the tablet? I'll give you an example. I know you from Kingsbury Academy, right?
Yeah.
You might not remember me, right? But I remember you.
Yeah.
When me and you were younger, right, we had something called a satellite dish.
That's right.
Most people don't know about it nowadays. It's a very big circular diameter dish that goes in the back of your yard.
Yeah.
When we were children, right, I can talk it. We were down here. When your parent went to work, right,
yes.
Where did that satellite dish go?
Up in the air.
That was pointed directly vertical in the air.
Anybody who is know what up in the air mean. Anyway, F4.
Exactly what up in the air means. That's what I'm trying. I'm just trying to give you an example, right, of what kids do.
Right.
That's what kids do.
Right.
Kids automatically gravitate towards the most negative things humanly possible. That's what
they're
children
curious.
normally do.
No, children are curious. So the minute you say, listen, that ain't what you should be watching or that ain't what you should be doing, we will know why.
All right, then.
So
but
automatically,
if you're too tired to explain that to the child, the child will just keep on watching and learning.
Yeah.
So now the children nowadays are actually learning from the internet. They're smarter than me and you, but they're weaker than me and you.
Yes.
I'll give you another prime example, right? You know why the killing's happening nowadays?
Why?
These kids nowadays can't differentiate the difference between reality and TV.
Wow.
They actually believe in their head that the things in the action movies actually exist and they can actually do it in real life. Think about it. Nowadays, right, these people, when we're a gunshot, that's few in between. The first thing you do is duck.
Yeah.
What these kids do nowadays, they go out towards the gunfire to take a picture.
Wow. They got their phone. Yeah.
With their phone.
Yeah.
They want to take a video picture of the action of a gun shooting was going on. This is crazy.
Yeah. No, I with you, caller, and so these I got to take some more calls. I appreciate you definitely chiming in. Yeah, man. But what the caller said is so important, right? As parents, I ain't gonna lie, you be tired. Like you really want to feed the children properly, and you want to, but my Lord, just be tired. You understand? And then things expensive bad. You know what I mean? Let's run back to the phone. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, of course, in the family of islands. 242-300-5720. Our text lines are open at 422-4796, powered by BTC, and standard text rates do apply. Caller, you're on Guardian Radio today.
Yes, sir. Good day, sir.
How you doing?
Not bad.
Great.
You know, the issue with the children and especially with their eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has to do with the adults who allow them, who like let's say with things like the fast food.
Right.
You understand? Everybody's eating fast food, and there's nobody's legislating fast food.
Mm.
You see? And,
now that's
and
don't run past that point.
So,
that's a point. You say legislate fast. Explain what you mean by that.
fast food. Come on.
I mean, when you say legislate, like you mean we should have some policy in place to say, listen, man, this food is adversely affecting us. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I know what I mean. And I'm saying is, what's the difference between fast food and sugary food?
Yeah, it's the same.
No
yeah.
difference. All is fast food.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's you know what I love for you to do.
Yeah.
I love for you to. You're gonna be a while everything because of Howard probably on vacation or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love for you to do a show
Mm-hmm.
on neo-colonialism.
Mm-hmm.
I know a progressive liberal and a neoliberal.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah, man.
Because see, I would think that all of our parties are neoliberal parties.
Mm.
You see?
Yeah.
The progressive liberal party is not a progressive liberal party. They are neoliberal party. Hence why they privatize and everything. They privatize and they're foreignizing our economy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? What I'm
I
saying?
with you. I with you. That's some France phenomenal stuff.
Even the wholesaling and you know whether they're from privatizing people from the south or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
It's privatization.
Yeah.
You know, of our economy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And our resources are more than our resources are utilities.
Yeah.
You know, when we were colonial, you know, the government owned it and the government was British, the government.
Yeah.
So now they come back for their things. You know, so
I think they never live.
See, I know you ain't afraid of no visa.
Yeah.
You ain't fair no losing no visa.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's more place to go than to the north.
Mm-hmm.
At least you could go north, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to start calling out the IMF, the you understand me, and the World Bank, and our politicians who are selling us out to these organizations, and they bring their policies to the north and ain't their policies, and then they want us to say we're independent.
Right.
How could we be independent?
Yeah.
You know, our politicians, they got self-determination.
Yeah.
But they make the decision to submit to the colonial system.
Yeah.
Come on now. The only thing we ain't did was wholesale. What you call it? What the word is? We still holding on some of our social programs.
Yeah.
We have hence is the reason why we ain't the national health insurance payment yet. It's because of this neo-colonialism. They're afraid of the private insurance. You see, if people want private insurance, let them have the private insurance, but none they have both. I mean, they have at least national health insurance.
Yeah.
That's the way it's done.
And I think that falls right back on the economy.
You know, we got to stop selling that because we really ain't.
I appreciate your
and don't sell me that the U.S. is dependent. The U.S. interdependent. The U.S. ain't interdependent on nobody. You know, they choose.
Who they want to deal with it?
At least they might need some things, but they won't want to trade for. They're going to take it.
Well,
hello?
Yeah, I bet you.
Like you know, they have X amount of what you call it, nuclear power plants, and one nuclear power plant could have three, four reactors. So it's Europe. They need those resources. They go and take it.
But that's
you see, or force you
that's racism, white supremacy.
With them that you know.
Yeah.
And see, we fail to be industrial. You see, we as a country, why we not an industrious nation? Why not? You see, our politicians they followed out the neo-colonial thing, and we're gonna do tourism and banking. And that makes us dependent.
I appreciate you, caller.
Thank you.
And these are some of the things we talked about some of this on Friday, but we definitely can jump back into that comment. Today's open line, so we can talk about anything. But I was just using this study to kind of springboard into these conversations. But let's run back to the phone lines. Good afternoon, Uncle. I am enjoying your show. Please stay balanced in your comments. Yes, I will do my best. All right. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. In the family of violence, 242-300-5720. Caller, you are live on Guardian Radio today. Caller going once. He came through. Caller, you there?
Caller, there you stuck in voice alone. You brother uncle.
Hey, how you doing, Elder? Namaste.
Man, I'm right here. You know, I think the big problem we have is the people that provide the food, also establish the food. So most of them are being genetically modified.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That's a
big problem. Big problem.
You see? And nobody are looking into it.
And once it's genetically modified, it's no longer food. They call it an organism. A GMO.
You see?
Yeah.
And, you know, and what gets me, right? The authorities, like the doctors, right? The people that bring the food in, right? They know what's happening, but they don't care about, you know, the human race. They only care about that dollars, which is very much poor.
So let me say this, Elder Bremen, right? That may be true in some instances, right? But I could guarantee you that there are people in high places that want to have better food in the country, and there's only so much they can do as an individual, right? There's only so much that can be done when the population, when the populace, when the majority of the people don't seem to care or don't even educate themselves about, okay. So now when you in a position, you got to live too, right? If you up there making money and taking care of your family, you see what's going on. But you can't necessarily change it because you don't have enough outcry from the people. The people have to we don't understand our power as a people.
But a lot of our people don't know. Our children don't know. What I've noticed, I would go places, the shops and stuff to buy stuff, right? And a child would come in there, and they will say, "Well, give me one of those red drinks or those green drinks," without knowing the the flavor, the name of the flavor.
No, but you know what what train us into that is service stations, and they have these slushy. The slushy don't have no name on it. You got to pick a color.
But that is wrong. The government should look into that, because if the government would give people license to bring those stuff into the country.
The government, let me tell you who the government are. The government is us. We got a demand from our politicians, from our representatives, that we want these things done. You see what I'm saying? The government steeped in all kind of different things. So if people don't look like they paying attention to it, the government ain't gonna say nothing.
The people don't have the understanding.
But this is why we having these shows today. Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of our elderly people, they have the same, they work with the same situation in which, like some of them don't have good sight or, and stuff like that.
Well, what happened is, after eating a certain way for so long, the body, it gets to a point where it can no longer sustain. Because,
Brother Ongu, it's the same thing. The people not being educated how to eat and what to eat, why to eat.
Right. But this is why I put this conversation on the table. Like I say, today is open lines. We could talk about anything. But I put this conversation on the table today because I think we don't the things that we do care about. Like, we love politics in this country. We love church in this country, right? We love partying. We love anything that seems to get a rise out of us. Like, that's what we love. But it takes us slowing down and having these type of conversations to get to the solutions. So like you say, a lot of people are not aware. But if you're not aware, then you're not going to make the changes.
No.
You see what I'm saying? If you know your body's supposed to have 25 grams of sugar a day, and in most of these sugary drinks, you're getting that or even much more in one drink. And you got some people drinking 3, 4, 5, 6 of these drinks a day. You have to have diabetes by the time as you in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You gonna have diabetes because you understand?
High blood pressure
and all that. Yes. But if you don't know, and see what they so deceptive of doing is putting natural on it. Oh, it's natural. But then go check the label.
Right.
Yeah. But I got some more callers coming through, man.
Something else I wanted to say.
Go ahead.
Then this other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
These youngsters would causing problem in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody are looking into the situation as such. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They know who they are, but they ain't doing anything. You know?
Wow.
They need to just get some of these people and put them behind bars if it's only for a few hours to make them to understand that's not the right way to go in our country.
Yeah. But I mean, I see the police. I see the police on the road. I mean, I think they doing what they supposed to do or trying to do what they supposed to do. But I do hear you, right? There are a lot of situations that are not properly addressed. The police are overworked. You understand? All of these things are fact, because guess what? We got to ask the question, is the police, are they eating properly?
That's the other thing.
They being stressed out on a day-to-day basis. Imagine, right? When we go into these businesses to solicit, when we go to purchase things, in the country, the customer service level is very low right now. There's some places that I go, it's very good, but in many instances, it's very bad. All right? Imagine that bad customer service and the way that zaps the energy out of you. Imagine that being your job, to just deal with people who have bad customer service. That's what the police do. They got to deal with all type of different spirits and personalities every day. All right. Thank you so much for calling, Bremen. I think we got another caller on the line. Let's get to this caller. Sorry for having you wait so long, caller. You're on Guardian Radio today. Caller going once.
Hello.
How you doing? You're live.
Yeah, I'm on the air.
You're live. Yes. Thanks for calling Guardian Radio today.
Yeah. Your last caller was very, very. He made a point about legislating health.
Yeah.
I think it's important that the Ministry of Health legislate fast foods. I mean, you have to regulate them, checking to make sure that they have the right oil, and so on and so forth. Also, restaurants that use seasonings, for example, like MSG, which is very dangerous to the health of this country and persons who are eating and doesn't know what they're eating. They have to have a team from the ministry. If they have to create a special team with experts to inspect these restaurants and to ban. And I must say, we need to ban MSG because at the end of the day, you know, persons have to rely on the health care of this country, and that's why the health care costs so high.
Yeah.
So we need to shall I say, police fast foods now and the restaurants with these seasonings, and we have to ban certain seasonings.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the government is saying, hey, the hospital in trouble, too many people coming in sick. Well, if we attack the diet and if we eliminate and ban certain things, then you will see some changes in the needle. You see? So there are the two important things. The government must investigate these seasonings, the fast food chains, exactly what they're doing, and if it's unhealthy, they have to change their oil. I think the United States now under Kennedy, I think now they are now mandating to change certain oil in fast foods, okay?
Yeah.
So we have to be serious about it. I hope the minister, I'm going to call him, I know I'm pushing late, but I hope the minister is listening very clearly. We must legislate that, and we'll cut down the cost of healthcare, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's so important in so far as making people aware, right, that these things can actually assist us in having a better life in this country. Like if you're eating properly, the level of irritability, the level of sickness, that decreases, right? And then certain other issues begin to fade away, right? Let me talk about some of the initiatives that the ministry talks about in this study, right? They have a school water access project. They call it SWAP, right? The ministry is launching a pilot project to install water fountains in public schools to improve access to safe drinking water, aiming for nationwide expansion. Now, I know there's some schools where you bring your water bottle, right? And you can fill your water bottle up, because I remember when we were small, we just used to put our mouth on the water fountain and drink it, right? I don't think we need to be doing that. But even if you sending your children to school with a nice thermos, and they know that they could fill their thermos up with some cool water when they run out, because again, things are expensive, right? But access project is something that the government is looking at, a pilot project. There's also a health promotion and wellness bill. This recently tabled bill is designed to promote healthy lifestyle, strengthen nutrition policies, and establish a national food and nutrition commission. So caller, I think there's some things that you talked about that may be in this bill. Krugman, we got another caller? Yeah, let's just run to the phone. Sorry, my apologies, caller. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio today. Caller going once. All right, I don't know if they stepped away from the phone. All right, we'll just give us another call back. 323-623-325-4316, 325-4259. All right, I see another caller coming back through. Let's run straight to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today with host Kahunanku Sarah. Yes, caller, you're live.
Chime in on a topic pertaining to foods, right? You realize once we place a ban on certain foods, right, basically the food store will be empty. I'm telling you this based on the fact that you read about or heard about in California is now doing a ban on certain foods like cornflakes, cereals, Gatorades, candies, because they found out that in the UK they actually use natural fruits and vegetables, right, to form the coloring for the cereals like Fruit Loops, M&Ms, and stuff like that. But in the States, they found out that the Gatorades and Fruit Loops and all that are made out of certain substances that are actually not ready for human consumption. I don't know if you read or heard about it. It's a ban, the California ban. I think it took place about last month or something, right? Either last month or month before.
I'll look it up.
California is actually putting a ban, and you have to actually put a label on certain foods. Not Tostitos, Doritos. I'm sure you heard about that. The M&Ms that is actually going to be label placed on it, not ready for human consumption. The humans actually don't even supposed to eat it.
Wow. But look at our food. I know.
And the UK, like I said, the UK, they actually use natural. They found that the UK products in their cereals, drinks, and the candies, right, actually use different products than in the US. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I remember in the 90s when I went to the UK, the GMO foods were just kind of getting popular then. And in the UK, they had a section where they explained exactly what the GMO was, and they kind of put a warning over the food so that if you went to purchase this food, you would be aware that, hey, this is GMO food. This is not regular food, right? I didn't see that here in the Bahamas, or I didn't really see it in the US, but in the UK, I saw that, right? Let's run to a break. Today is an open line. We're not only talking about food today, but that has been the gist of this conversation. But we're talking about whatever you want to talk about. We're going to run to the text when we come back from the break here on Guardian Radio today with host Kahunanku Sarah, 0.9 FM.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Hungry for a deal that hits the spot and your wallet? Then stop by Wendy's and grab our $15.95 meal deal for two. Choose two of your favorite entrees, a Dave single, spicy chicken, or a 10-piece nuggets. Served with 2 junior fries and 16-ounce drinks. All for just $15.95. At Wendy's, we're always serving quality food at a great price. Available for a limited time.
Is your business ready for the next big step? More inventory, new equipment, a larger space? At Fidelity, we offer commercial loans tailored to suit your business's needs. Inquire today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located at the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio today with your host, Kahuna Uncle Sarao, son of Eneas III. Today has been a wonderful conversation centered around food, but in the context of a study that the Ministry of Health in the Bahamas recently released from the Global School Health Survey. I'm going to run to just a couple of texts and then we're going to go to the phone lines. It is an open line, so we don't have to talk about this only, but this is where the conversation has led us. I saw a text that I wanted to address. It says, hello, you can eat any junk food and don't get sick. If you exercise regularly, you will never get sick because it's being burned out. So, texter, I appreciate the text, and I do understand, I guess, the logic behind your text. The body, however, requires fuel, right? It requires proper nutrients, proper vitamins. Now, exercising will delay it. You know, when I was younger, I could eat, I could buy a whole large pizza and eat it by myself. And 2 hours later, I was hungry because I was swimming. You know what I mean? But eventually, it'll catch up to you, right? If that is, the way that you're living, I pray that you add some nutrition into there and keep exercising, but add some nutrition, right? Let's run back to the phone lines, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. Caller, you're on Guardian Radio today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for calling. How you doing?
Okay, I just want to reply to, you had a caller who called a few calls back in reference to the government having to check or do some investigation on these fast food.
Yes, and we read
I hope he's listening. Okay, first of all, right? It's up to us and where we choose to eat and what we eat.
Yeah.
All right? I don't think the government is going to ever investigate on what kind of food cooking,
Well, there's a health promotion and wellness bill that was recently tabled. So the government is looking into it. But go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, my point is, right, as a person, we choose to eat what we eat. All right? If you know fast food or junk food is not good for you, then you just stay away from it. You understand?
But what
Stay
about?
away from it.
I agree with you, right? I agree with you, right, Carla. But what about that? What about that struggling parent?
Pardon me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me good?
Go ahead.
Yeah. What about that struggling parent who they have, 3, 4, 5 children they gotta feed, and it's just easier to get fast food to make sure that they full so that they could function. Like what are we saying to those parents? Because they want to eat better, but then if they go to buy the more nutritious food, it's just so much more expensive.
So you open up a can of worms for me, right? My discussion as we speak right now, right? I mean, the gentleman, I was saying to him, the government decreased VAT to 5%, right?
On certain items, yes.
Certain items. If you were like me, I was feeling very good about it. I was having a party, okay, in the food store.
Right.
A month after that, you go back in the food store, and it seems like everything went back up. Now, I don't know if you or anybody else noticed that, but I do, okay?
Yeah.
Everything went extremely high. And my reason for that is, right, if you as the government, right, you just can't decrease that without making it affordable for everyone, including the food chain people. However, they probably didn't give them no exemption or whatever they didn't do. I'm trying to do my investigation, right? Starting with Mr. Robert's store, right? If you're going to increase VAT to 5%, and they having a challenge with reducing their food in food store, then we all have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? That's like medication. They was having conversations with the pharmacist, right? Not too long ago, right? Nothing changed.
Yeah.
I was telling him, and it's the truth, I got 7 pain tablets from the pharmacy yesterday, and I paid $25.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Medication is extremely, and I don't know what's the other thing they call, what they call it, the what? It's a real one, it is the what?
Oh, you have the generic. You have the generic.
Generic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was a generic, right? But back to that again. Persons always go to the food store, and the kind of food that they would choose to want to buy, they can't because they can't afford it.
Right. So
and we need to fix that in this country, man. You understand? Because if you say, and this is me talking now, it's almost not to call these radio talk show again, right?
Right.
But to be frank, right? If you saying you trying to make it better for me as a Bahamian in my country,
right?
There are some things that concerns me, and what concerns me is the price of living. It is too expensive.
Yes.
And I am a mother.
Yes.
I have grown kids, but the persons, like you said, with the little children who have to shop for 3 and 4 kids. Genuine. I wonder when I go in the food store, how could persons go in there and shop?
How they surviving?
When you could barely shop for yourself. You understand?
Yeah. How?
We need to fix that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ain't nothing changing, and then we still going back to the poll, and we're going to vote. I give it you. No, you still coming to me, asking me for another chance.
Right. And the price.
For what?
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly. Everything going up.
I'm telling you, this is what concerns me.
Yes, me too.
Okay? When
me too.
it's time for me to go in the food store and buy food, when I get sick and I got to go to the pharmacy and I need medication to get well.
Yeah.
Okay? Or when I got to be sneaking around looking to see if anybody's robbing me or going to kill me or something like that.
Yeah.
We have to change the things that happen in this country.
Yeah.
And until that's changed, I don't mind. And like I tell them, Bahamians will never vote the same prime minister in twice. They may not believe me, but they will never do it.
Wow.
I ain't going to do it. I'm going to give Paul a chance, see what he could do. And if I put him there and he do the same, I can tell him back on the side and I'm going to find another person.
Yes.
And I think that's how we move. And I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what they do. You had your opportunity, you blow it, it's finished.
Yeah.
Back on the side.
The record agrees with you.
Fight.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The record agrees with you, Carla, because the past few elections have been about voting out the existing government more so than voting in a new government, right? But you talk about the cost of living, right? one of my favorite sites is Bahamianology.com. Bahamianology.com. All right, this is an article from Bahamianology.com, and it talks about the cost of living. The Bahamas cost of living, $10,000 per year in 1968 to $10,000 per month in 2024. Right? In 1968, the colony's Chamber of Commerce, such as it was warned of sharp rises in its new cost of living measure for a Bahamian family of 3 to live reasonably in 1968 was estimated at $10,000 a year. Family of 3, $10,000 a year. Between the commencement of 1966 and September 1968, it was further estimated that the costs incurred in the Bahamas colony had increased by approximately 25 to 30%. Consequently, the cost of living for Bahamians reached another untenable milestone in 1968. Back in the 1960s, the effects of rising rents and land prices. Does this sound familiar, people? Right, like, are we going through the same rigmarole in 2025 that we was dealing with in the 60s? Back in the 1960s, the effects of rising rents and land prices, inflationary pressures on goods and services, a dominant U.S. dollar, and new money pouring from foreign investors were having a significant impact on the local economy. It drove overall prices up. Added to this was a new majority rule political mandate to lift tens of thousands of poor and lower class Bahamian families, which is shrinking today. Government debt rose sharply to meet new social policy aspirations. 1967 was arguably the last period of a treasury surplus for the colony. So as soon as we get majority rule, there was no more treasury surplus, according to this article, right? So think about that, all right? We're talking, the well-being of the country, food, the economy, etc., right? 1968, you needed $10,000 with a family of 3. Could you imagine? Now you need $10,000 a month. And very few people making $10,000 a month, right? This text says, might this be us feeling the effects of the USA tariffs on items going into the U.S. and then we are buying it from them? It could be. I know they talk about the small businesses in the United States really feeling the effects of these tariffs because, whatever Donald Trump is deciding to do to make America great again, it's going to affect us because our dollar is pegged to the U.S. dollar. Now, I'm not an economist. Excuse me, Mr. Lang, he definitely will touch on such questions. I love to hear him chime in on these economic questions because ultimately the reality of what we are dealing with regard to the country and with regard to what we're facing economically, right? Like one of the previous callers just said, we are at a point now where another general election is we're on the eve of another general election. So people coming around and knocking on your door, they asking for your vote, right? If we ain't addressing the price of life in this country, right? If we're not addressing the crime, if we're not, and everybody would say that they're doing it, but we need some hardcore, evidence that that's what's taking place. Now, the question for me, for the economists out there, is what are the indicators? How will we know, right, in the Bahamas that the cost of living is starting to move in the right direction, right? I know C. Allen Johnson has a editorial, and I think it's in today's paper, talking about a digital economy. This might be him now, I know. Let's run to the phone lines. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259 in the Family of Islands, 242-300-5720. Our text line today, as always, is 422-4796. Caller, you are on Guardian Radio today. Caller going once?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry.
How you doing?
Good afternoon, Anku. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, same here. Listen, it's an open line, right?
Yeah, man. Whatever you, whatever on your mind.
Yeah. What is on my mind is how some of these public government schools, these principals, are running these schools like these. They're fearsome. I understand that C.R. Walker School, right? They are requiring the female students to have their skirt bands no bigger than 2 inches. Right? Now, Uncle, you're a former teacher. I'm a former teacher as well.
Yeah.
What does the size of a band have to do with a child's ability to understand and to learn? What does I'm all for modesty and whatever it is. But what does having the skirt down to the ground in the school, and when the child gets home, they still put on their pom-pom shorts?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Miles said, you can't change a man from the outside in. Only the Holy Spirit can change him, or God can change him from the inside out. These principals must understand that these are public schools.
Yeah.
This is not their money. This money that is running the school. I hope Glennis Hanna is listening to tell these principals that the education law says every student under the age of 16 has the right to be in the school. And you can't stop a child from coming to school because their school band is 3 inches or 2.5 inches.
Now, when you say the school band, you're talking about the waistband, right? Like the waistband for the skirt.
Right.
Yeah. Now, cause some of the children, they heavy, right? They may be overweight, and that band may just be something to help keep the stomach in a little bit to make them. You know what I mean? There's different reasons why.
Uncle ISO, right? And I made a prefect shirt for one of the students, and they said because the color of the button was wrong. Come on, man.
Majoring in the minor.
You majoring in the minor. This don't make sense. We got more. I was listening to Kenny. She on a show. She had this lady on, Miss Thompson. She has this. I forget. This has a funny name. School, and she was saying, man, she allowed the students to she don't put them kind of restrictions. The boys can come with their hair braided and in locks once they keep it nice and clean.
Yeah.
The children can wear their hair braided. Man, listen, slavery over,
Exactly.
We been free now. Tell me so. Whoever is charged of C.R. Walker, Glenn, and Martin, tell them slavery over.
You remember
come on, man, stop putting all of these foolish laws in place.
Yeah.
Just like the penal code, what I listen to sometimes. Man, them laws, what they call an uncle, they've been for 300 years.
My Lord.
I hope, Ms. Hannah, Martin, please let these principals know that they are only managers of these schools, okay?
Yeah.
That's what I want to say today. Buddy.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. I remember they had a campaign. What's the name of it? The young lady with the puff. The puff campaign around C.R. Walker because the young lady had her hair natural. Big thing that went viral all over the world. But I agree with the caller. It's difficult managing all those different personalities as an administrator. I think obviously you want to have a uniform standard, being a former administrator, a former dean at the Carefree International Academy, we definitely strive to have a level of uniformity, a level of discipline with regard to the school uniform. But one thing I could say with my mentor, Dr. Jacinta Higgs, she taught me that you don't major in the minor, son. You don't. We're the garden of souls. That's what the Carefree International Academy represented for these children. It still represents that today. And so I don't know what's going on at C.R. Walker or any other school, but if we majoring in a minor, we go right back to this report I was reading about with all these different issues that these children have, and that's what we need to be focused on. All right, let me just take a text and then I can run back to the phone lines. Text says, who are the real criminals? Let's see. They say weed still $5 a half bag for decades, yet my veggie party has gone from $5 to almost $10. Come like the weed man need to run the nation. Boy, I guess ain't no inflation on weed. All right, let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio Today. Caller, you are live on Guardian Radio Today.
Well, your text is right. As a little boy, when I used to experiment.
Yeah. Ain't nothing changed. You know what I mean? I was there too. I used to be under the tree. You know what I mean?
We all could relate to that garbage, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But, someone would chime in and really seem to address, would we have been better off today had we stayed under the British pound? You know, the euro is stronger than the dollar right now, and it's been that way for quite some time, right? And seeing what's going on in the United States now, it appears as though, we know that the dollar isn't a currency. The dollar represents an agreement. It's kind of like a covenant. And right now, Mr. Donald Trump's actions seem to be threatening to unravel that covenant, like leaving smaller nations exposed to a lot of vulnerabilities. This is where he appears he's going. So, we were once anchored, but it appears as though that we are now going under.
The anchor off the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to leave you with a parable to consider because I've been doing some research.
Yeah.
And this might help us. A fisherman once traded his British compass for an American tide chart. I'm talking about English and now being pegged to the dollar, right? Put it to tradition, which is what's in our past, our history, and all that filth that mixed with it. But the chart, the American tide chart, predicted opportunity. So we kind of bought that. Right? But now guess what happened, Uncle? When the storm came, you see, it wasn't the direction that saved us. It was knowing when to move.
Wow.
You follow that?
Wow.
So we need to figure out now, are we going to stay under this situation where some guy is trying to win again at all costs, disrupt the system that was working so perfectly in America, because he wants to make sure that he's able to, impose martial law, and then there'll be no midterms.
Wow.
You see?
I've heard that.
You see where he's heading?
Yeah.
So that's what you get when you trade your British compass for the American tide chart. You have a wonderful day.
I appreciate that, caller. 323-6232-325-4316, 325-4259. Of course, in the Family of Islands, 242-300-5720. Our text line is 422-4796. We got to run to a break, caller, so we will get back to you right after this break. Keep it locked here on Guardian Radio Today with host Kahunan Kusara.
Great Commissions Ministries is called the poor, homeless, and hurting since 1987. You are invited to support their Stop and Drop program by dropping off some food items in their barrels and some cash in their bottles. You can donate an offering each month or pay your tithes online to Great Commission through the Givelify or SunCash apps. Help them to shelter the homeless, feed the hungry, and spread the gospel of Christ. Volunteer your service and support the Live to Give program. Call Great Commission Ministries, Ford Storehouse at 325-5801 for further information or stop by the office on Wolf Road. Be blessed.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4, get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back-to-school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back-to-school special. Restrictions apply.
Tell them.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today, the August 6th edition. Again, we want to say happy independence to our Jamaican brothers and sisters. You know, my daddy went to JC, man. So my parents was married in Jamaica. I got some real love for Jamaica. You know what I mean? So I want to say happy independence to our Jamaican brothers and sisters. Today we have an open line. We've been talking about some of the challenges that the children have been having based on a report that came out this year. You talked about the food aspect of the report and the substance abuse. There's another trend that's troubling, and that's the amount of sexual partners that these children are having. We're talking about children. I think the report goes from up to age 18, 16 or 18. I'll have to find that number out. But in any event, these are high school children. And they say, while the report highlights many challenges, it also notes some positive trends. This is a positive trend, right? They say such as a decrease in the proportion of teens reporting multiple sexual partners. So that's down. All right, that's a beautiful thing. Because, you know, when I was in high school, I remember when Magic Johnson made that announcement that he was HIV positive, and I remember my parents, when I went off the board, you know, I received a large bag of condoms to go off to school with, and I might sound like, you know, some people saying, but my parents were very realistic. They say, you ain't got to use them now. But if you're going to use that particular organ on your body, use these with it, all right? You ain't want no disease, and you ain't want to get no one pregnant. You understand? So that there's been a decrease in teens reporting multiple sexual partners. Now, I don't know if that means... you know, they just stick into one partner. But in any event, you know, these children are not the children of yesteryear. These children are being exposed to things that many of us were not exposed to until we were adults. You know, we had a caller call in earlier who talked about the era of satellite TV. And when you catch the channel properly, you sit there and you watch the fuzz, if you know what I'm saying, move up and down, right? But today, these tablets, these computers, this technology exposes these children to so much at such an early age that they're not psychologically prepared to deal with it. You understand? And this is part of the issue that we're dealing with today. So we got to talk straight with these children. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live. Okay, we come right now. Okay, here we go. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, give thanks, Tango.
My Lord.
It's a multifaceted conversation, but let's relate to the food and the children and the proliferation of the alcohol, the liquor stores in the inner city, and then the social fallout with the collapse of the home and as far as the family structure. And so the children are susceptible to so many vices, and then there's a social crisis, right?
Yeah.
And then the pundits look on in amazement. That really hurts me because you have induced this, right? And, you know, it's amazing for me at this age right now, ready to go in the grave, right? I ain't trying to be around here forever, you know.
No.
Because, I mean, it ain't really worth it. I don't do it for my children, but I'll share this with you, right? Very learned person, right? I say things, see, what I hate is Negroes. We don't know the truth when we hear it. Sometimes they call it talk shows. I would say things. I would say words in order to make it shorter. I would say things, right? And so there's a social engineering project going on with humanity in which technology is running away with our children and us and all, right?
Wow, yes.
Yeah, man. But most people don't want to realize it now.
You talking the truth.
Yeah, but sometimes people say, like what's 52 on because they're in the shallows and they don't want to get into the deep. They wasting Bo Peep. They didn't want to go look for their sheep. But they done in too deep. So we enemize one another. You see? And this was hurtful for me. I'm not the enemy. Social media has become the enemy because the boy from the States got all kinds of people name calling on the social media. I don't know how they can deal with that, but that's another story for another day. But I want to highlight some injustices that the educated masses and status quo is inflicting upon the masses, right? Firstly, I'll say boldly and audaciously, and I'll have a debate with anyone. The scientific community and the international community at large, but I wouldn't say that because I've learned this from PBS and also reading over the years and using common sense, given the fact that AIDS is an RNA virus. They have never been intellectually correct about the origins of AIDS. No. And I don't care what nobody says. They know that.
Yeah.
They know that. All right? It's a socioeconomic imposition. And so you know what a challenge study is, right, Uncle?
The specific
the challenge study, but you mentioned it before, the challenge study, but well, obviously you know because you had mentioned the challenge study with the SARS-CoV-203.
Oh, yes.
People being
I didn't know
exposed,
that, the name of it.
That is known as the challenge study.
Yeah.
So there was a challenge study with SIV and HIV. You're familiar with that, right? So the monkeys were infected with HIV, and they didn't become sick. But when you infected the humans with SIV, they became sick. They showed they were symptomatic. All right? So I'll leave it at that. But I don't want to sound too scientific and then scare out some of the people who think that they should control the information and you shouldn't ask them anything. Hence, we arrive at scientific dictatorship, correct or incorrect.
Yeah, you're
If
correct.
I can't question you, that means it's dictatorial.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you've been away to medical school for 50 years means that somebody can't ask you something or can't question you about something. That's what I'm saying. So I've been using the term scientific dictatorship on the radio for how long now? From before when Calvin Smith and them and everybody was on. So I jump from here to there because these are the concerns. When you have a phone in your hand, you should be able to discern truth from lie, even if you don't know it. The kind of questions my little 9-year-old is asking me about religion and Jesus and why he's white or be white with curly hair and blue eye and all that and this and that, all kind of questions and about God and different things. I'm like you say, I'm realizing what you're saying. We don't have time to really police what they're watching. They're learning things before the gun. They're pronouncing words before they can spell them.
Yes.
So we see the fallout, right? But we call it all good. And then the question is, who is to blame, Uncle? You brave new world in 1984 is now.
Yeah.
In the 21st century, the black man is still his own enemy. The question is, how do gay people get so powerful? Why is it that females, they will be mad? And I was having a conversation with Rasta, so I thought I'd bring this up because I don't know if you have time to do it. They would lambast a man if he's 50 or he 100 and the girl 20. They'll be hot with that.
That's a good
But that's
show.
jealousy, but they wouldn't lambast. Oh, let them be the way they want to be. That's they want to be woman, they want to be man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have a moral decay in which there's a spiritual delay.
Yeah.
You see? So I just thought I would bring it up. Maybe society needs to think about where it's headed because the human, I don't care who get mad or who glad or who like or dislike.
Yeah.
Keep those things to yourself. But I'll share this before I go on to.
Yeah.
The radio airwaves, even with you, with your religious critique, I know it's true, you know. But what I hate is when people critique you in ignorance. So when we're going to come, and you know what I would wish? That they would stop entertaining people who call, talking about callers without critiquing them factually about something versus your visceral BS.
Yeah.
That's not going to get us anywhere. We need to keep those things off the airways. If I said something incorrect or I think it should enlighten the public and somebody would say, well, this is incorrect of this particular fact, but we need to keep our personal things off the airways and let's get ahead with movement needs critical thinkers and people who could listen and really respond to what's going on. The country is thinking, nobody's thinking. Every root on the corner is drinking.
That's
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Surrounded and expose, but you expect him to pass the liquor store or the candy shop every day and don't say nothing. And figure this one out, Andrew. Bill Clinton said he smoked it, but he didn't inhale it. So there was a drug bust the other day for £230 or something like that, and they said it was value $430,000. I was trying to figure out how they arrived at that mark. I don't know what's going on. You tell me.
I heard about that. Yes. We are gonna take this final break, and then we're gonna jump back to the phone lines. I see the phone lines are lit up, so we're gonna keep it moving right here on Guardian Radio. Today is an open line. Keep it locked.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
He is the king of crunch, the master of flavor, and he's going to set your taste buds on fire with the new King Crunch sandwiches at Burger King Nassau. Crispy fried onions, pepper jack cheese, and bold chipotle sauce. Plus, fixins cover a crispy chicken patty or 2 flame grilled beef patties on BK's new King Crunch sandwiches that are bigger, better, and bolder than anything around. And they're only available at Burger King Nassau. Try one today.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Let's run right back to the phone lines for this last segment of the show. Caller, you are live on Guardian Radio today.
Good morning, buddy.
How you doing, man? How you doing? Long time.
Fine, man. How your lovely sister doing?
She hanging in there, man. She hanging in there. She
You need to bring her back to co-host the show sometimes.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. That's good.
And every time I listen to you, I think about your sister, man.
I know. You know, we used to do the show Plugged In. Yep.
Way back.
Yep.
I think about that show. It's a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Bring her back sometimes. But you know, you're talking about provincial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Provincial garden.
Yeah.
And it all boils back to good parenting, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents guide you. My parents guide me and guide other people from immorality.
Mm-hmm.
If you do watch things you're supposed to watch, you'll cut it off or you'll get spanked.
Mm-hmm.
So, no matter how advanced the internet is, it all is based on discipline.
Yeah.
One of my sisters then allowed their daughter, my nieces, to use the internet until they get about responsible, like, adults.
Yeah.
That could be teenagers, too. That could be 21.
Mm-hmm.
But responsible adults.
Mm.
And they check what they go on, and they see they kept focus on stay on the children's thing, whatever research.
Right.
They stay in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I think Brendan Knowledge want to introduce, Brendan Knowledge want to introduce a thing called parenting, school parenting.
Mm.
How to be a parent.
Yeah.
Great London, one of the national service for one of their purposes. Because me and you are the grandmother who look at us, and the mommy and daddy who look at us.
Yeah.
But all they all are not fortunate like that. Need school. Some of them need school classes.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because of the functionality, dysfunctionality in our society so far. It's hard to say
We
that,
got
but
children
that's
having
how it is.
children, so yeah, that's needed.
Huh?
We have children having children, so it's needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. There are those that need it.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. And we need to upgrade our law on these grown men who go on with underage children.
Yeah.
I call them children.
Yeah.
Underage.
But I mean, we have the laws. We just gotta be serious about.
No, stiffer penalty. Stiffer penalty.
Okay.
Because getting away with it. And it can't be you could have been to court at 16.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't vote until 18. You see how it makes sense?
Yeah.
So they got to be 18 down the line because some men who pray, you got men who pray, they'll wait till they get 16. But they still ain't grown on. They still learning.
But see, I agree with you. If you're a grown man, you need to leave, children alone. Definitely, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The problem comes in when you have the teenagers experimenting with each other, right? So, I don't think you can stop that.
You know, can stop that. The law looking at parents. If you're not responsible parents, what the state should do, what they do in the United States, our state should take away the children.
Well, you think that can solve the issue?
Extreme.
In extreme cases.
A child on the street.
Well, yeah, on the street. Okay.
Right. I'm not talking about that. Extreme. They're not disciplined. They don't know their children go. Like the TV to say, do you know where your children is after 11 o'clock?
Yeah, I remember that.
You sure you
10
remember that old?
10 o'clock. Yes, boy.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
It's
10 o'clock.
Because it will be advertised on antenna. It was, satellite antenna.
I used to climb up on my antenna to get on the roof. So I could tell.
Lord, you old. Yeah, you old. Yeah, you old, man.
Okay.
You don't sound that old, man.
I am 48 years old.
48. You still got antenna, no. You still got antenna 48.
We had antenna and then we get satellite.
You are moving to satellite, so you're the 70s.
I got one more call to get in here though. So
yeah, man, but hey,
yeah, I got to hear your voice.
This is the last time, okay?
Yeah, man. I'll let her know you asked for. Yes, boy, Pumpkin Eater, I haven't spoken to him in years. Let's get to this next call here on Guardian Radio today. Open line. Good day. How you doing, caller?
Right, yeah, man. I just call you, and I normally don't call 2 days or so, but anyway.
Yes.
That's what I mind what I saw happening around here, right?
Yeah.
Now, that gentleman who called about the child with the uniform,
yeah,
I don't agree with him.
Okay, let me hear your point.
You got to have law and order. You see, some things what the school do, we don't want to do. That's where law and order starts from, right in the school.
Okay.
So you got, okay, let's say you have a child going to send a QC. And if that teacher say your skirt could be what is what, I bet you it could be done.
So
you understand me?
I with you, and I don't think the caller's against what you're saying. I think the problem with some of the rules are they
I can hardly hear you, but anyway, go.
Sorry. I said the call. You could hear me better now.
I can hear you better.
The caller was making a point that some of the rules are just so almost petty. Not that the lane of the skirt isn't important. That wasn't an issue.
Well, anyhow.
But I hear what you're saying. Gotta have law. I agree with you.
Yeah, man. Anybody do what they do. The boys will come with their pants with the no belt in their pants,
Yeah,
and
you
they
can't have
just
that.
let anything buck up.
No, you can't do that.
Right. So not main thing I call for.
Yeah.
They're all about housing. They ain't got no land for housing and so forth. And I don't know. If you want me to come pick you up, I'll do it. That's how serious I is.
Yeah.
Rest of Bacardi Road, that's a good piece of property there for them to put some low-cost houses. That's acres and acres of land there. But right now, it's an eyesore.
Wow.
Somebody got all up and got much of the land. And it ain't in the back,
I see it.
You see it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Come on. We say we have a houses crisis. And you can take this property and give to you can let somebody go and build this thing right in the front of Carmichael Road. Then down further, you got a couple houses with got solar panel on it, and then you got illegal immigrant in the back.
Now, I don't know if all those are connected. I know that there's some construction going on, so they ain't finished yet. I know that much.
Yeah, but then again, why they didn't give that person some property on Fire Trail Road or somewhere? That's our good land. We say we have a housing crisis. We could have used that and cut down and build some. I don't know if you see where you're coming from.
No, I agree. There's another subdivision right next to that I know.
Yeah, the other subdivision right next to that.
Yeah, they had started. They didn't get to finish it, but they had started building that subdivision.
They're building, yo. I think I know what you mean when they got security, yo.
Yeah.
They're building, yo. But you see what that property is, what that place is. That's an eyesore there, man. That looks terrible. And the shiny, man, look, like you say, you know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really call for, to show how slack we is. And we around here roaring, but we can't build no low-cost houses.
Yeah.
Take that on that land, yo. It don't, like I say, it don't make no sense. You might as well take that down and let them go Fire Trail Road and build some good houses there, man. Because the bus and thing run right there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I appreciate you.
I think that need to be revisited. Whoever gave that place and all that land, and we thought we need land to build a house, and you taking that get us boy, throw up them old pilot paid up. It's an eyesore, man. Anyway, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Got a texter here. This is an open line day, an open text day. Question: do you think the government would remove the tracking number from the ballot card for the general elections, as was recommended by the international observers who were observing the last elections? We can't call out. They know how we voted. I remember this conversation being hot since I was a teenager or before. That's a great question. And if it's not being removed, then I don't know if they're going to start now. But to your point, we cannot call our elections free and fair if they know how we voted. I don't know the answers to those questions in terms of whether or not they're going to remove it. But I do agree, if they do know how you vote, we all know how victimization works in this country. You understand? And if they know you voted or if you didn't vote, whatever the case may be, that affects a lot. So I don't know. Maybe Mr. Lang could touch on that. He's a political expert. Let's see this next text here. Let me see. Let me read this before I read this out loud. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I ain't going to go there today. Texter. They talking about certain type of lifestyles and where the lifestyles are. I ain't touching that right now. You understand? But ultimately, today's show has been about having the conversations necessary to have some solutions, right? I think in order for us, yeah, you're laughing, Dexter, right? I think in order for us to really have the kind of conversations that we could have, this Freedom of Information Act, I mean, to be able to really see what's going on. Like today, all through the news today, you have this conversation about whether or not the deal in Grand Bahama is it done or not. Like people asking, right? But you don't know. You know what I mean? And so difficult to even have a respectful conversation when you just don't know. I don't just mean about that, but a lot of things are being done and it's not transparent, right? And so it's difficult to have fair conversation. It's difficult to assess what's really going on. And so I used the example of the recent study with children to kind of give an example of what can happen when we actually know what's going on. Like we know what's going on in the schools. I see the government has begun to put in some preemptive or some different responses to what they're seeing in the study, right? The School Water Access Project, the Health Promotion and Wellness Bill, they're collaborating with Ministry of Education and PAHO, and it goes on and on. But if we want to build this country and get it to where we know the country can be, we got to be able to have the the kind of conversations that allow us to have solutions. We can't just be stuck on politics. We can't just be stuck on gossip. We can't just be stuck on complaining. There are a lot of people who want a certain level of critical thinking and critical conversation in the country. And anytime I have an opportunity, I will bring it to the fore. My name is Calhoun Ankusa, has been guardian